Hi, my name is Yorma Jennings, and in this video I want to show you the Adobe Connect Monitor application that allows you to monitor, manage, and support your organization's use of Adobe Connect. The Adobe Connect Monitor application is comprised of two components. There's the web-based component that allows you to see the active rooms and what's going on there, and to interact with those users, as well as the in-meeting component, which is going to be a custom version of the Adobe Connect chat pod. The custom chat pod that's available for download in the upper right corner of the Connect Monitor website gives you visual insight into the room, showing you the host view of the room, as well as gives the individuals within the room the ability to send chat requests for help and you to interact remotely with those individuals. So when we look at the Connect Monitor website, we have the ability to leverage groups. In this case, there's the default active meetings, which will show all the active meetings currently on the account. And then we can create custom groups. So in this case, I have a sales group where I have the individuals that I would maybe maintain as part of our sales team. So there's my room, Rob, AJ, Nancy, and I can see when they're active. If they're not active, they show up, but they show that they're not currently running. So those rooms can be monitored if I'm in charge of a group of individuals as opposed to the account as a whole, or even if you are responsible for the whole account, just as a way for you to kind of control what you're looking at any given time. If you have an especially busy Connect account, it may be beneficial to predefine groups that could then be used to make your job a little bit easier, even if you're jumping between groups to kind of keep track of what's going on. So to create custom groups, we can go ahead and click the Add New button up top. From there, we can give the group a name, and with the group named, I can search for rooms to add to it. So we'll take a look and see if we can find one of Mark's rooms. So there's one. I'll add that so I can watch that. And then we can, let's see, we'll search for Sam, see if I have any there. There we go, Eric and Sam Cullen. So now I've got this group of rooms that I'm going to watch. I'll hit Save Group, and it adds it to the list here on the home page. So I have sales and customer success. The advantage to predefining those rooms, again, is that I can jump in at any time and say, hey, I wonder what our customer success team is doing. And I can see that none of them are currently active, but whenever they are active, I will be able to see their rooms up and running and help them support as needed. So the other side of this is going to be using the chat pod so that way we get insight. And if I pull a room over here with it, we can see I have the chat pod, and it's similar to the chat pod used in everyday use of Adobe Connect, but it has the same features and functions, just a little bit more prominently displayed as far as font size and settings that we can use. It is a custom pod. It's not named chat, but you can double click on top of the pod and rename it. So that way it's still intuitive when users come to use it. We have the ability to have public chat. That's under everyone. And it posts just like any other chat message within Adobe Connect. The other party piece of the chat pod, besides giving that visual insight to the individuals maintaining the help system behind the scenes, is the ability to send a request directly to support. And this is available for everyone in the room. So if I look at my other room that I have up that's running it, I have the monitor chat pod there. And so it's myself and Rick James in the room. And so, of course, as the host, I do see those options. And I'll make it a little bigger here so we can have it look the same as in the other room. Everyone and support. And then if I go to Rick James view, it's a little bit simplified because he's a participant, but he does still have the ability to reach out to support. And so if he selects it, the button turns green, indicating that that's the chat that he's reaching out to. And so then he can call for help, say, help. My camera isn't working. Now, of course, he's a participant, so he doesn't have rights, but maybe he did, and it's not working out for him. And so he's asking for help and looking for that kind of input. And if I go back to our monitor system and I look in the seminar room, I could see over here on the right that Rick James has sent me a message, "Help, my camera isn't working." And then I can respond and start through my questioning or investigation to understand what's going on. So I send out the request. We can see that I'm having a conversation here. And if I go back to that view, they now see me responding. So as opposed to the public chat that's going to be seen by everyone in the room, the support is a private chat between the individual on the support line and the person asking for help. So one of the cool things about the monitor application is I can also see details about that individual. So I can see that they're on Windows 10. The browser is listed as standalone because they're using the Adobe Connect application. You get IP addresses. You can see their latency, what role they're in, right? So that way if they say, "Oh, my video camera doesn't work," you go, "Oh, well, you're a participant." Participants don't have rights to the camera. And it may be as simple as that. Very rarely is it ever that simple, but it's always nice when you can have the easy answers. So we get some insight about the individual. We can look at what they have as far as audio devices connected to their computer, as well as video devices. And so I can say, well, let's see, you're a Logitech webcam. Let's go ahead and see if we can turn that on. And they get a message saying, "Do you want to enable it?" And you say yes. And you see it actually gave them rights, and they can then turn on their webcam. So we can easily go ahead and provide solutions to individuals all remotely without having to join the room. Now, there are other features available to you. Things like you can invite individuals to a private session. It will create a new instance of Adobe Connect, right? A new room that you guys can both go in and work one-on-one with voice and video and whatever other options you want. So that way you're not disrupting the main session. So that's nice that you can help do that. And then there is also the ability that you can join as a host, presenter, or a participant into the room. So if the presenter is asking for help, or maybe someone is there, but you can better serve them by just joining the room and working closely with them, that option is, of course, there for you. It is worth noting that all your chat history and support requests do remain on the system unless they are specifically deleted. So that way you can come back and you can find them later. We do have the ability to copy and paste our chat history and save that. So that way it can be saved external to this system. But none of this goes away unless you explicitly delete it. So there's always a record that you can come back and manage it that way. So overall, that is the Adobe Connect Monitor platform. It's intended to be easy to use, something that gives you a rich insight about what's going on in your account. It makes it a lot easier for you to keep track of multiple rooms going at one time. So instead of having 3 or 4 Adobe Connect sessions at one time, I can just come here, turn on the thumbnails, and I'm ready to watch for chat requests to come in. I can keep track of what's going on in the room. I can zoom in to make my thumbnails much larger. It's not a live video feed that you get into the rooms. It does update every few seconds, so it's kind of a snapshot, but it still lets you have an idea of what is going on in the room. And again, it is from the host perspective, so you actually get to see things like the backstage area there. So a nice functionality there. Again, giving you that insight and access the whole time. If you want a list, you can have that instead, but most people really do like the thumbnails. So hopefully that kind of explains how the Connect Monitor application works and gives you an idea. So if you have any further questions, by all means, reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions, set up trials, and get you going with this tool. Thanks for watching.